I'm just going to jump right into it. Sheriff Bill Decker. How would you and others in the Dallas area, how would you describe Sheriff Bill Decker's reputation?
He didn't have any children, but if a child come up missing or abused or anything, he would turn the whole sheriff's department out until that child is found or safe.
What was your impression of him when you first met him, and how did he treat you?
Oh, I thought he was wonderful. He was a very friendly man. He was nice to me.
Mm-hmm.
He was nice to my father. And one day my father took me to work with him because he was working dispatch there at the old Decker jail, what we used to call the old Decker jail on Main Street. And we walked upstairs, and I had my little fedora on, my white shirt, my pants, and my shine shoes. And my father, he walked in, and Decker just come out of his office, grabbed me by the hand, took me in his office, and set me down in front of the typewriter and put a piece of paper in there and says, type me a letter. I was 5, 6 years old. I didn't know how to type, but it wasn't an electric typewriter. It was them old pecking typewriters.
So he unofficially deputized you at that point?
I guess so. Either that or made me the clerk, you know.
Yeah.
My father went in the dispatch office and come out. About an hour later, wanted to know if I was bothering anybody, and Decker said, go back to work. You know, so he went back in the dispatch office, and I sat out there until my father got off, and then next time I met him, my father took me there, and Decker grabbed me by the hands, and he said, Roger, you go to work. We're going somewhere.
Okay. Where'd you guys go?
And, well, we went to, there used to be a place called Western Town out there in West Dallas, off from Oak Cliff, I believe it was.
Was it like a theme park or?
Yeah, it's like a
Carnival?
not a theme park, like an old West town, you know, where they act out saloons and they had blacksmiths there, and they had shootouts, the sheriff, and putting people in jail and all that. And we went there, and we got to see all that. Rode stagecoach, went to the saloon. I ordered a root beer float. And he ordered a sarsaparilla, a red-looking drink with a cork in it that they had there. Of course, it was all on ice. And got to go to the sheriff's office there, and I got to put a guy in the jail. And at 5 or 6 years old, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
We stayed out there all day and came back at the end of my father's shift, and we went home.
So he treated you like his own son, I guess. At that
point. Yeah, he treated me like, and took me up in the jail a few times, and we ate up in the officers' mess up there, and the trustees served us. And I got my favorite, meatloaf and mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese. That was my favorite, you know, and went down, looked at the artwork that some of the trustees painted, and then went to the courtrooms on the second floor up the marble stairs there. And, you know, it's just one of them things.
So that memory that when Sheriff Decker took you to, what was it called again?
Cowboy Town.
Cowboy Town. So that was one of your best memories of him as a child?
Yeah. Man, that was fun. I got deputized out there, put a guy in jail, and rode the stagecoach, and got a root beer float, and all that stuff.
Did he share any stories with you, or?
No, he just wanted me to have fun and enjoy myself.
And that was important to him?
That's important to him. Like I said, you know, him and kids. If a kid got in trouble or anything, you know, he was right out there. You know, there wasn't no abusing a child and getting away with it, because you're going to spend time in the county jail.
Okay.
Kidnapped child or a missing child, the whole sheriff's department on horseback and squad cars just went all over until they found that child.
Now, before you met Sheriff Decker, had you heard any stories about him?
No.
That you remember? No. So that was the first when you met him. That was the first time.
Yeah, that was the first impression of him, and that was a pretty good impression.
Okay. What were your father's feelings about Bill Decker before the assassination? I mean, before everything went sideways.
Before the assassination, he thought the man walked on water. He really did. He thought Sheriff Decker was the greatest man there ever was or ever will be. And he just wanted to do the best he could to impress or please Sheriff Decker.
Now, is that due to the reputation that preceded him back in?
Oh yeah, back when he was chief deputy with Smoot Smith.
Oh yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, he was chief deputy with Smoot Smith, Sheriff Smoot Smith. And during the Bonnie and Clyde times, Smoot Smith sent Bill Decker down to Louisiana with the FBI and Texas Rangers.
Now, was Decker a part of that when they? I've seen the film version with the shootout with the Warren Beatty film version.
I think he was, but I'm not for sure. Somebody told me he took a BAR with him out of the property room. BAR was Clyde Burrell's favorite weapon.
Okay.
There was a BAR in the Sheriff's Department property room.
Oh, okay.
And that's what Decker was supposed to have taken, is what I heard. Because Clyde Burrell loved the BAR because it's a .30-06 fully automatic rifle.
Oh, I see. So he was going to do him in with his favorite weapon.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I think the FBI agent, he had a Thompson submachine gun with a drum.
Uh-huh.
And the Texas Ranger, he had a shotgun with his .45 revolver.
There's a famous picture with Sheriff Decker standing over the corpse of Bonnie.
Yeah, they brought Bonnie back to Dallas because she was going to be buried in Dallas.
Uh-huh.
In the family plot or cemetery. And down at the morgue at the old Parkland off of Oak Lawn, that's where it was, which is the Sheriff's Department Academy now. That's where they took that picture with everybody standing around Bonnie, you know, down there at the old morgue at the old Parkland Hospital.
Now, do you think that Bonnie and Clyde situation cemented Sheriff Decker's, I guess, fame in Dallas as the sheriff?
Oh, yeah. He won hands down next election.
So next election he was in.
Yeah, and was sheriff ever since. Until he died, and I don't remember when he died, but he died in office. Now, that'll tell you how much power that man had. The Sheriff's Department is a symbol of trust, respect, and honor. It's been that way since the first Sheriff's Department here in Dallas in 1846.
And do you think with Decker coming into office, he personified that?
Yes, definitely. He believed in you protect and serve the public. And you always treat people, whether you arrest them or not, with respect. Now, according to my father, what he told me was that during the presidential parade, Decker ordered 2 deputies with sharpshooters with rifles to go on top of the records building. And look out for snipers. And he told everybody else, I want you standing out front, but don't get involved in nothing.
Okay. So now would the records building have been on Houston and Elm?
Yeah, it's right next to the jail. It's behind the jail.
Okay.
The jail and the sheriff's office at that time was The front door of the sheriff's office was on Main Street.
Okay.
The jail.
And that's where your dad was?
Connected. Yeah.
Okay.
The jail was connected to the sheriff's department right behind it.
Right.
And the Sally Port entrance into the jail was on Houston Street.
Okay.
Now, between Elm and Main.
And you say now Sheriff Decker put some sharpshooters on the top of the records building?
That's what my father said, that the two people that he knew that were sharpshooters got up there with high-powered rifles and scopes. Now, that's what my father said, that Decker ordered. And that all the rest of the deputies were to stand out in front of the sheriff's office, lined up, which would have been looking at the old red courthouse, but standing on the right side of Main Street. And the motorcade come up or down Main Street, right on Houston, took a left on Elm.
Now, I think in the interview that I think it was Lincoln Carl that your father did one of his interviews with, he had mentioned that Decker told him not to take any part whatsoever in that motorcade. I think that was in his manuscript as well.
Right.
Okay. What do you think Why do you think Decker made that order? Just to, you can speculate.
I think he was told to stand down.
So Decker had his orders. He had his.
Right.
He may have been at the top of the food chain there in Dallas, but he was taking orders from a higher.
I think he was ordered to let Dallas City handle it. Dallas City is Dallas City Police.
Okay.
Because Kennedy was coming right down through the center of downtown Dallas. And all the county had that was county buildings was the sheriff's department, the school book depository, the records building, the jail, the courthouse, and over on Commerce Street, we own that property too, but it was a parking lot then.
So what do you think his motivation was by putting the sharpshooters on top of the records building? Do you think maybe he thought that there was a lax in security? Maybe he was
probably,
thinking that
Decker was always anticipating the unseen. You know, kind of like, this don't feel right, we better take extra precautions.
Now, since we're on the subject of the Dallas City Police Department and the Sheriff's Department, maybe we can delve a little deeper into that.
Yeah, the relationship between the city police and Dallas County were like two stepbrothers. Neither one of them liked each other, and neither one of them wanted the other one around. And they were always arguing over jurisdiction, which the county has jurisdiction over the city because the city is in the county. Captain Fritz was in charge of it.
So now Fritz, were Fritz and Decker at odds?
Yes, definitely, because Decker didn't hire him. See, Decker wouldn't, what I heard was before he went to Dallas Police, he tried to get on the Sheriff's Department. Decker wouldn't hire him. Decker saw something. Decker could read people. He really could. You could walk in his office and he could tell you what you were thinking. And I don't know how he got that knack, but he was that way. And Decker, he only did what was right. And if you tried to come in and tell him, you really need to do this, and if he didn't think it was right, he'd tell you to get out of his office. To me, my impression of Decker was he was a very determined man. And when he got something in his head, he didn't stop until it was finished. Because I'll tell you a little story. While I was working the jail at the Dallas County Sheriff's Department, the old Decker jail, we got a release form for a prisoner. I pulled his buff card out, and it had a big red stamp on it that said Decker Hold. Sheriff Carl Thomas had to okay it before we could release that guy. That's how much power Decker had. He was dead, been dead for years, and we couldn't release a guy because he had a red stamp that said Decker Hold.